No Dunks podcast on the Athletic Network. Today's classic brought to you by Neutral Vodka Seltzer, made with real vodka, real seltzer, real juice. It's Neutral, the one with the umlaut. Tuesday, March 21st, 2023. I'm J.E. Skeets here in the Classic Factory, and alongside me, as always, Tass Mellis.
Podcast listeners, this is for you.
Next to Tassius, the bearded one, Top Shot Hot Boy, Trey Kirby.
Ayo.
Hey, yo. And last but not least, over yonder, making the magic happen, super producer, Eshua Kid.
How y'all doing?
Oh, what's up? Happy anniversary.
Thank you.
Good, sir. What, 3 years?
3 years, yes, sir. 3 years.
Look at that. What are you doing? Anything special?
No, we went out Saturday, so nothing special. Just re-listened to that podcast that we did from back in the day, though, with Taz. So, yeah, I would say go check that out. It's a throwback. It's nice.
Classic. An absolute classic. Yeah, we talked after you got married.
Yes, sir.
Star Wars themed wedding.
Oh, yes,
right.
That was the hook.
Yeah, it was a Star Wars themed wedding. I know I'm a nerd, but it was all good. JD hijacked the podcast. It was fun, though.
All right, go check it out. It's up there. Just search for it. Well, happy anniversary. Great to have you here. Shout out to the stream team joining us live on YouTube. Like the vid, comment away, and make sure you subscribe. Also, check out the YouTube shorts that our guy Jerome was dropping yesterday. 4 bangers. Back to back to back to back.
Who is this guy? Mark Whitten?
It's unbelievable. Nice reference. Hey, no bunts tomorrow?
Yep.
There you go.
Oh, big game tonight, Tassie.
I can't wait.
You excited for that WBC? Me too. It was hype last night.
USA,
Yeah.
Japan then in the final?
Yeah, you could have a Trout versus Ohtani. Ohtani's making it seem like he's not going to pitch, but he's going to pitch.
Oh!
The teammates are going to face off. Ohtani was pumped to play in a game yesterday that mattered. He was great.
So that's tonight they play? Mm-hmm. Wow, all right. Excellent.
Should be
Yeah.
the most watched baseball game ever, I hear. Seriously.
Like worldwide.
Yeah. There was like 40 million people watched watched last night's in Japan.
Well, yeah, 40 million people watched a pool game in Japan earlier in the tournament. They love their baseball.
Love their baseball. Guys, go get your No Dunks merch over at nodunks.com. Hoodies, t-shirts, mugs. Like this one. This big old fat mug. Classic Factory. Hadn't seen this one in a while. JD just popped this out here in the factory, so go get this. I'm going to take a little sip, see if it works.
Actually, I popped it out. I said, I got a couple mugs here for the factory. I brought it from home. So, yeah, it might taste like my car.
It tastes like a little soapy, if I'm being honest.
Car scent.
JD was so smart, though. I said, I got a couple mugs for the table. He goes, oh, clearing out your mugs? Exactly, sir. Exactly.
All right, let's get into the action last night. 6 games on in total. We're going to touch on all of them, some key takeaways from each one. Let's start with Trey Kirby's Bulls snapping the 76ers win streak in double overtime. Call it an upset. We watched a lot of it on playback. Had a blast. Thanks to everybody that joined us. What were your big takeaways?
Well, the key takeaway is that the Bulls are back! Perhaps more back than ever before, Skeets. Heading into last night, Joel Embiid, 12-0 against Chicago. But the Bulls finally put the L in Joel. We watched a lot of this one, and it was ugly throughout. Yeah. This was a double overtime game. Also, somehow the lowest scoring game of the evening. It ended up being 109-105.
Crazy stuff.
And they played 58 minutes.
Yeah.
Crazy. The Bulls shot 41%. Went 7 for 33 from 3, and they won. Because Philadelphia had 21 turnovers, turned into 24 points for Chicago, and also the Bulls shot a ton of free throws. They went 24 of 29 at the line. Philadelphia went 19 of 22, but it was really just Embiid getting to the line quite often. He finished with 37 points, 16 rebounds, 15 of 17 at the free throw line. This was his 10th straight game with 30 or more points. Somehow the first guy to do it since DeMar DeRozan last year when he was on his Wilt Chamberlain streak.
Yeah.
However, Embiid also had 5 turnovers and fouled out in the second overtime, and that's really when the Bulls won the game. Those last 3.5 minutes, basically. It was Bulls time, and got to give some credit to Nikola Vucevic, put on the lockdown lotion, and it was all good for Chicago. DeRozan, LaVine, Vuce all went for 20 or more points. They all had 3 or more steals. DeRozan had some big baskets during the stretch run in overtime and in regulation and in second overtime. Also had some bad misses, some weird turnovers. Zach LaVine was dropping dimes all night, except for when he just got the ball ripped from him from behind after a huge defensive play. And Vuce, I thought, was really aggressive. The two Pats did their job. They made things really hard on James Harden and Tyrese Maxey, and a game ball goes to Derek Jones Jr. 10 points. 8 of them came in the fourth quarter. Had the game-clinching block and rebound in second overtime as well. The Bulls are now a half game back of the 9 seed, just a game back of the 8th. They're closer to 8th than they are to 11th.
Ooh.
Who would have thought? 8-4 with play-in Pat coming to Chicago.
It was a really good Bulls night when you pair it with a Pacers loss, too, which we'll obviously allude to a little or touch on a little bit later. What were your takeaways from this one, though? Yeah. The Bulls, big win.
Yeah, they're playing really well. 5-1 in their last 6. Who would have friggin' thunk it that they put it together? Defensively, they've always been there this season, which is the surprising part. And then Vooch putting on that lotion, such a rare occurrence in the NBA. I don't think I've ever seen it before. You go up to the scorer's table, you're usually getting some sort of chalk, something to dry your hands, rather than something which could encourage moisture going into the overtime period. But he went at Embiid pretty hard. Obviously, the Sixers have been playing really well. They had won 8 straight coming into this game. I think you have to put this one on James Harden for not helping Embiid as much. I know the Sixers staff, as we watched on playback, was kind of on Tyrese Maxey at the end of regulation to do more, to take it upon himself. He's been great. He has been reinserted into the starting lineup. I don't know if that was Doc Rivers' plan from the get-go to go from Maxey in the starting lineup to the bench, which I thought was working really well. He led the bench. They had these two different little factions, and Maxey would come in, speed the game up when Harden likes to slow the game down and have the ball in his hands, so it kind of made sense. But then Maxey has been reinserted to the starting lineup and has been awesome. And I think Harden took a game off in this one. I couldn't put this game on Maxey. I think James just didn't feel like being awesome in this particular game.
He had a brutal game.
Yeah, he had some opportunities to seal it. But the Bulls, they got it done with enough dudes.
James Harden had 5 points last night, 2 of 14 shooting, 0 for 6 from 3. 5 turnovers as well. I mean, he had a lot of assists, but he was the only Sixers starter that was a negative out there, minus 11 on the night. Everyone else that started for the Sixers was a positive, of course, led by Embiid and Maxey there, 8 and 9. But yeah, weird Harden game, and had chances even, like you said, at the end too. Despite a bad night, they almost pulled it off. Had a couple looks, but he just had a rough one. Weird.
Yeah, Patrick Beverley took him out of the game with physicality. Harden wasn't looking to score at all. Ended up getting outscored by Beverley 6-5. That shouldn't happen in a game. But when it came down to it, after Embiid finally fouled out, it was imperative that Harden start looking for his offense. And he just couldn't get into his offense because he'd taken the previous 4.5 quarters off, basically. He was just happy to get rid of the ball anytime he was feeling the pressure. That's how he racked up the assist numbers. But 5 turnovers, 5 points, that ain't going to cut it.
A lovely Beverly game, as many personal fouls as points. It made sense watching Pat and the other Pat do it. Yeah, they all contributed. Yeah, Derek Jones Jr. really turned this game around. Trey mentioned him, the third and the fourth, and then the block. He was humongous off the bench, plus 13.
And that's what's been nice for the Bulls over this sort of winning streak or winning a lot of these games recently. It's like Kobe White has had a couple big games that have helped them get across the line in a victory, and then it was Derek Jones, doing it. So they are getting some contributions from some of the other guys to go with DeRozan and Levine and Vucci, baby. They're putting up some good numbers. So good win from the Bulls, snapping the Sixers win streak, and because of that, Philly drops to the 3rd seed because they were tied with the Celtics going into last night. Celtics didn't play, but they are now the number 2 seed, and we will look at the Western Conference number 2 seed changing as well. And we'll go there right now because the Grizzlies rallied for a big victory over the Dallas Mavericks, Tass. There's a lot of sort of fallout from this one, so I don't know where you want to start.
Some fun stuff. Let's start with the superstar being back on his bench, not playing, but John Morant was back in the building after his 8-game suspension there with his teammates, and his teammate Dylan Brooks said that Morant approached each Grizzlies player and, quote, apologized to us for his actions. He also said, you're going to see a different Ja out there who's consistent every single night and is going to give us the energy that we need to be a top team in the West. All right. Can't wait to see it. Wednesday, I'm sure he'll play.
Sounds like it.
Against the Houston Rockets. Although he told Dylan Brooks told his teammates that he wanted to come off the bench because things were working so well, and Dylan Brooks said, "Come on, man,
get serious, bro.
You're going to play basketball for us as a starter because you're a superstar." And Dylan Brooks, as much as we ridicule him, I thought he did a really good job on Kyrie in this game. Kyrie still got his. He still scored. He did end up stepping on Kyrie's toe.
Smart.
Yeah.
Smart stuff.
Although Kyrie said it was an accident, but Kyrie was wearing a protective boot on his right foot after the game because he re-injured that toe. Jaren Jackson Jr., I thought, was the biggest part on Kyrie in the fourth quarter. Dillon was the number one guy, and because there was no Luka Doncic out there for the Mavs, Kyrie had to face Dillon and then Jaren Jackson Jr., who teams are going to avoid like crazy in the postseason. Try and avoid him as much as possible because he just switched out onto Kyrie and just gobbled him up on several possessions. You can't do that for 48 minutes, but that dude can just guard from every part of the court, and Kyrie didn't have a field goal in the fourth quarter. Mavs only had 3 themselves in the fourth quarter. Kyrie still got his as 28, but looking at on the other side, Jaren Jackson Jr. came through in the end of this game. He had 28 points. He's getting more confident in his post game, especially against a small front line like Kleba or Dwight Powell. He only took through 2 threes, and a couple buckets in an old school way late. A post up with 4 minutes left, and then getting the ball on a pick and roll at the free throw line and scoring against the small front line. Again, he's really super confident. I want to see what he does in the postseason. But Grizzlies broadcaster, former NBA player Brevin Knight, was yelling on the broadcast. You could hear it while we were doing playback. He yelled, "The Grizzlies have found their number 2 option," and I hope so. It is a different type of option because this is the non-post era of the NBA, and that's where Jaren Jackson Jr. goes. We were talking about a couple of possessions. He got the ball at the three-point line, didn't touch it with his right hand, and got all the way to the rim, just backing guys down. They're spreading it out for him, so I want to see how that works out in the postseason. I want to see how Jason Kidd's coaching works out in the postseason because they kind of gave this game away. They're up double digits, and they just couldn't score. So there we go. Kyrie needs Luka, and Luka will be back soon, I'm sure, and hopefully Kyrie's healthy as well, because that's the recipe for the Mavs. And looking forward to we got a second-seeded Grizzlies team here now.
Yeah, that's right. They are the number
up.
2 seed, and the Kings, they lose. They come back. We'll get to them losing to the Jazz a little bit later in the show. But yeah, both number 2 seeds changed last night. The Celtics back at number 2, and now the Grizzlies back at number 2 in the West. And what about Dillon Brooks? Dancing and pointing sort of at the other bench, the opponent's bench, and got his 16th technical on the season. So if it stands, if this one is not rescinded, he's missing a game.
I thought 18. I thought he got to 18 now. 16.
He'd already done 16. This is 18. Excuse me. Thank you.
And this one was such... Okay, this was a dumb technical because he's taunting a guy on the bench.
Yep.
But also it's a hilarious technical because he's taunting a guy on the bench.
Yeah, and he's doing a very funny
He said,
dance.
Theo Pinson, I used to love watching this guy play growing up. They were in high school together. They were in high school, and now he's paid to be a cheerleader, is what Dillon Brooks said. So this one ain't getting rescinded. All the Grizzlies, even Taylor Jenkins, are like, yeah, gonna be tough to get that one back.
Yeah.
So he's just gonna sit out a game.
I did like his line about it, though. It's a $5,000 fine as well as the suspension. He said, it's just paper, man. You're right, Dillon Brooks. It's a love-hate relationship with Dillon Brooks. Says some good stuff, going at his old teammate Theo Pinson on the bench, calling him a cheerleader, but it was a loving way. He also said he was a great basketball player. Now he's being paid to be a cheerleader, but a damn good cheerleader.
What
People
about
like Theo
That's
Pinson.
a serious bird.
What about after the game where Dillon Brooks did the jersey swap with Kyrie Irving? Well, was it a swap? I don't know. Can we count it that?
The jersey
he took Kyrie's jersey. Didn't seem like Kyrie was that interested in the Dillon Brooks jersey.
Oh, no. He didn't take it.
No.
And he was asked about it post-game.
Yep.
Right on it. Everybody on it. Hey, it seemed like Dillon Brooks wanted to swap jerseys with you, but you didn't get his jersey. And actually, the reporter said, such a gracious gesture by Dillon Brooks to give you his jersey. And
gracious.
And Kyrie ain't fanning the flames. He was pretty smart to say, oh, I'll probably get it next time. I was just...
like distracted, sort of?
No, he said he was mentally on to the next thing.
On to the next thing.
Yeah, really quickly. I'll probably get it next game.
He went and gave a big hug to John Morant.
Yeah.
He's like, I gotta go hug.
Yeah.
I can't take this jersey.
And Triple J, who was guarding him very well, like Dillon Brooks was, but the Dillon Brooks thing, there's a bit of animosity there, I'm sure. But
Do you think Dillon Brooks is still wandering around seeing who's going to take his jersey?
Who wants a Brooks?
He's just still in the arena asking like janitors and stuff. You want this? Nah, I'm good. No thanks, man. Possible. Anything else, TK, from this one?
Yeah, Tass mentioned Brevin Knight on the call. At one point, Pete Pranica said that Jaren Jackson Jr. was a boy becoming a man after a big-time slam dunk, which is hilarious because, he's already a man. But also, Jaren Jackson Jr., last 4 games, 25, 28, 31. Last night, 28 in 23 minutes.
Yeah.
All of these on 60+% shooting. This is one of the best offensive stretches of his career.
Absolutely.
I was also really impressed by Memphis crushing Dallas on the glass. A 50-37 rebound advantage for the Grizzlies, 17-8 on the offensive boards. And this is missing their 2 best rebounders in Steven Adams and Brandon Clark. That's a way you can beat the Mavs, and that's really how the Grizzlies came back in this one.
Santi Aldama. Great
big.
name. 14 boards.
Yeah, and I will say, like, Ja Morant, when he comes back, if it's Wednesday, whenever it is, like, of course, he's starting. He should be. But how lucky are the Grizzlies to have a backup point guard like Tyus Jones? I know I'm a broken record with this, but I truly believe he is just one of the best backup point guards in the league. And he slots in there last night, 16 and 6, 7 of 10 from the floor, hit a couple threes, and he just never hurts you. He never fouls. It's unbelievable. He never fouls the other team, and he rarely turns the ball over. Like, it's weird to see one turnover in the box score for Tyus Jones. So, admirable job from him slotting in there as Ja Morant had missed some time. But
yeah, and you can see him filling in the shooting guard spot in fourth quarter minutes, especially with Steven Adams out for a long chunk of time and Brandon Clark out. They're going to have to size up, and Jaren Jackson Jr. is going to have to play 5, and that's the scary thing, too, for the Grizzlies. He had 5 fouls in those 23 minutes yesterday. He can foul out because he doesn't have the big guys around. So Tyus Jones could also help out. Just his part could just be being a playmaker. Mm-hmm. They need something in that half-court offense. Can't wait to watch in the playoffs. Let's
move over to the Timberwolves, edging past the Knicks, despite Julius Randle's 57 points, career high for him. 57. So Julius Randle scored 57, one of the greatest nights for a Knicks player in history. And the Wolves in this game also had the hottest start in the NBA this season. They were on fire. They hit their first 10 shots and didn't cool off for much of the game. They finished shooting 61.4%. And Taurean Prince was the hero for the Wolves. We can get to Randle in a second, but he had a season-high 35, and he went 8 for 8 from three-point range. Mike Conley had a good game, 24 and 11, but we had Knicks fans cheering when McDaniels finally missed a shot for Minnesota early in this game. It was like 7 minutes into game action. I think it was Jack Settleman was tweeting a photo, really weird to see up on the Jumbotron or on the big screen, 100% shooting across all 3 categories, because that was lasting for a little while there with the Wolves until they finally missed. But Prince, I mean, again, Randle 57, incredible. Prince going 8 for 8 from deep to become the 7th player in NBA history to do that, like 8 for 8 or better, not missing a 3. It's incredible.
Yeah, I actually kind of think that's more surprising than Julius Randle.
I think so,
going
too.
For 57. At one point, Michael Grady, the play-by-play man for the Timberwolves, called out, "Prince!" The shot drops in, "Dearly beloved!" Not bad.
That's pretty good.
Not bad. Definitely not bad. But interesting game for Julius Randle. 57 points. He was cooking through 3 quarters. He is the entire reason that the Knicks were in this game, I thought. But he also kind of blew it at the end. Giving up the offensive rebound, too. I think it ended up being Kyle Anderson with 10 seconds left. The Knicks got to stop. The rebound was there for the taking. But somehow, Kyle Anderson outquicked Julius Randle. He followed that up by getting a tech, so the duality of man. 57 points, good.
Yeah.
Blowing the winning play is not as good.
Because Randle had just had the 3-point play. We watched the end of this one on playback, and there was like 45 seconds left. But it's a 137-134 Wolves lead, and TK just said it. Like, they got the stop, but you got to finish the possession, get the rebound. Kyle Anderson got it, and then that was the one I think that then went to Prince, sort of cutting baseline there. Quick little layup inside. Randle's pissed off, throws the ball off the stanchion, gets the tech, and then the Wolves get an extra free throw shot there. And then he's like, what was he like banging like the what do you even call that? The sideboard?
I always call it the scorer's table.
Yeah, scorer's table with the graphics on it. You know, he was punching at it.
He was mad.
Yeah. But yeah, he was pissed, and he talked about it after the game. Like, he was like, 57, great, but we lost, and I didn't get the possession there. I didn't get that rebound. It really cost us. We would have had a chance at least to like maybe get this into overtime or even win the thing. But a pretty incredible game. 57 is still 57, and he's like, what is it? It's Carmelo Anthony, Bernard King, and now Julius Randle. There it is, 62 Melo had in 2014. Bernard King on Christmas with the 60, and then Randle last night. You see some other notable names there. Shout out to Allen Houston. What a game.
No love for Richie Guerin, who also had 57.
Yeah, sure, Richie Guerin. You're a big fan.
The year was 1959. I'd never heard of him until this night.
Hall of Famer.
I've only ever hear of him when that comes
whenever
up.
Whenever you hear Hall of Fame, right?
We did have this piece of trivia on the playback last night, but to flush it out a little bit more, I said Prince is the 7th player in NBA history to go 8 for 8 or better on three-pointers in a game. I know you guys know a few of the answers, but do you know who else has done 8 for 8 or more?
Ben Gordon.
Ben Gordon has done it twice.
Latrell Sprewell.
That is the other one. Went 9 for 9, I believe.
I heard that last night.
That's right.
Do you know the other? You know all these guys. Okay, I'll give you some hints. Yeah. Guy was a 2-time three-point contest winner. White dude.
Jason Capono.
No,
Price.
the other white dude.
Price.
No, the other white
Jeff
dude.
Hornacek.
There you go. You got to it. Nice. Great nickname. This guy's incredible. 8 for 8 from 3 for a big guy. Awesome nickname because, he was like peanut butter. Some like it crunchy.
You telling me Sam Perkins?
Sam Perkins went
Ahead
8
of
for
his
8 in the
time.
game. Yep.
Ahead of his time.
I touched his hand this All-Star weekend.
Okay, you also have touched this guy's hand before in the NBA TV studios, I believe.
Okay, 8 for 8.
He's known for not really being a three-point shooter, but he's known for a particular move that was named after him.
Steve Smith.
Steve Smith, the Smitty. He went 8 for 8 in a game.
That's a surpriser.
And final one, former Mavericks legend, played for the Suns.
Eddie Johnson?
Nope.
Hubert Davis.
Derek
Michael
Harper.
Finley.
Michael Finley.
Nice.
Yeah, what a weird list. Torian Prince, Ben Gordon twice, Horny, Big Smooth, Smitty, Sprewell, and Michael Finley. 8 for 8 or better on three-pointers in a game. Anyone can get hot, man.
Yeah, and this is the type of game we talk about getting hot. The Wolves scored 79 points in the first half. This is the type of game you get excited about watching the Minnesota Timberwolves. The duality of man, as Trey said. This is the duality of the Wolves. They just lost 3 straight games. Then they come in a game like this and do all the little things. Like the Kyle Anderson rebound, as much as it was a mistake by Julius Randle, it's a great move by Kyle Anderson just to get scrappy. They have a lot of those scrappy guys, but they don't do it game in and game out. And, yeah, they're going to be in a battle here. Without Anthony Edwards, hopefully he comes back soon.
Well, there's actually
Sounds
some
like.
news about that.
Okay.
Talking about the duality of man. Well, here's 2 men who could be returning to the lineup from Shams Charania. There's optimism that Minnesota Timberwolves stars Karl Anthony Towns and Anthony Edwards could return as soon as Wednesday versus the Hawks. Towns hasn't played since November 28th.
Wow, they did a good job keeping that a secret. His return, his ramp up sounded like it was going to be weeks away. Mm-hmm. That's quick.
I guess we did learn he had a hell of a setback.
Setback
like
mode.
way back in January when he thought he was coming back. Yeah.
Yeah, but now it just seemed like he was playing in, what is it called? The
shape Get in Shape League or
the
something?
Get in Shape
Up
League.
League or something? What do they call it?
Yeah, the guys who
Stay
are
in Shape
hurt. The guys who were the Stay in Shape League. That was just days ago.
Yeah.
So surprising that he'd be back already. That's great.
Must be a great league.
Must be a great league.
Got him back in shape just like that. He's ready to go.
In shape now.
So holy crap, Wednesday night we could see John Morant returning to the Grizzlies. These 2 guys possibly returning to the Wolves. Some big names coming back in a already crowded Western Conference playoff race.
It's ramp-up season. Kevin Durant back in no time.
Good point. When's LeBron coming back? Ham says soon.
Better be on Wednesday. That's the day for it.
All right. So those were 3 games from last night. We got 3 more still to tackle. Let's take a quick break and don't go anywhere. I'll be right back.
The last few years have changed how we do things in the Mellis household, and that includes how much we go out to eat. We eat a lot more at home, especially when it comes to meat. Why go out when ButcherBox delivers high-quality meat and fish to our door? We like how ButcherBox delivers in bulk and it's all frozen, so we just pull out what we need and have lots more in the freezer for other days, like when we grilled chicken thighs one night, or made schnitzel from their chicken breast another night, or when we had ButcherBox's chicken wangs for Super Bowl. And that's free-range organic chicken, mind you. And there's a lot of variety. It provides inspiration nightly. For Danielle, not for me. She's the chef. It's not my department. The variety includes 100% grass-fed beef, pork raised crate-free, and wild-caught seafood. Oh, plus the ground turkey we used to make turkey meatballs, which had a whole lot of spinach in them. They were delicious. Kids love them too. It's all humanely raised, no antibiotics or added hormones, free shipping, and good prices. And here's a deal. You're going to like this one, Skeets. Get free chicken nuggets for a year and 10% off your first box when you sign up today. That's a 22-ounce bag of gluten-free chicken nuggets in every order for a year when you sign up at butcherbox.com/nodunks and use code NODUNKS. 22-ounce bag of chicken nuggets. That's a lot of nuggets.
I couldn't believe this when I saw it. I was like, is this a typo? No, that's
probably,
nuggets for a year. Let's go.
That's probably 100 nuggets in a bag. Maybe. I don't know. But that's a lot of nuggets. Yeah. Every time you order. Claim this deal at butcherbox.com/nodunks and use code NODUNKS.
All right, guys, let me paint you a picture. You're at the supermarket, right?
Yep.
You made a quick run to grab some food for a little weekend barbecue. You're running through your mental checklist. Do we have buns at home? Are we low on ketchup? How many bags of chips should I get? And then you see the text. Little ding ding there on your phone. What's it say? Hey love, invited a bunch of the neighbors over. Grab wine, please. Oh boy. Here we go. Now I'm going through the wine aisle, feeling lost, feeling intimidated. I don't know what to get. I don't know how many bottles. I don't know where to start. If you've ever experienced something like that, you need First Leaf. Here's why. As America's most personalized wine company, First Leaf takes the guesswork out of wine selection. It's so easy, and I need this. You just take their short taste quiz, and you rate the first few wines that they send you, and then First Leaf uses your responses to curate a customized selection of delicious, award-winning wines based on your personal preferences with, check this, 96% accuracy. You take that little taste test, you get your wines, you give the feedback, and then they're knocking it out of the park test. 96% accuracy. A variety of new and exciting wines delivered to your door with each bottle priced lower than what you would pay at the wine store. You even get to choose when to receive your wine, and every selection is backed by First Leaf's satisfaction guarantee. I am part of the First Leaf monthly wine club membership. I love it because I feel like overwhelmed when I'm in the wine aisle. I don't know. They all look good. Get them all is what I say. But this helps out. It makes shopping for high quality wine affordable, pretty fun, and very easy. So sign up today and you'll get your first 6 bottles for $39.95 plus free shipping. Go to tryfirstleaf.com/nodunks. That's tryfirstleaf.com/nodunks to get your first 6 bottles for $39.95 plus free shipping. Tryfirstleaf.com/nodunks. If you are joining us live on YouTube, hit the like button. Help us out and make sure you have subscribed. All right, we talked about 3 games last night. Let's get to the other 3. And we start with the Warriors beating the Rockets to halt their 11-game road skid. They did it, Trey. They beat the Houston Rockets in Houston.
Cue the celebration music.
That's incredible.
I'm kidding, man. It's
that
the
was
Warriors.
a test.
The Warriors got their 8th road win last night. We don't need to celebrate that.
Nah.
They hadn't won, though, since January 30th on the road. That's a long time. They really needed this one coming in on a 3-game losing streak to start off a 5-game road trip. Not the most inspiring victory, I would say, for Golden State. They had 14 turnovers in the first half, which Draymond Green called pathetic. But they tightened up in the second half. Only 6 turnovers. 2 of them came in the first 3 minutes of the third quarter, so a pretty clean second half, all things considered. They hit 10 threes as well. Really controlled the glass in this one against a pretty small Rockets team. 8 offensive rebounds for Kevon Looney. JaMychal Green was actually pretty key on the glass as well. Steve Kerr did say this is the worst they've played so far on their road trip. But who cares? Because they got to win, and they'll take it any way they can. Because the Warriors, now up to 6th in the Western Conference. They play the Mavs, who are currently in 7th, for the tiebreaker on Wednesday, obviously. They're coming off a loss. So I think a successful night for the Warriors. I really felt like a degenerate, Skeets, when we were just rooting for that last 3 at the end of the game, which Steph Curry obliged. Curry and Thompson, obviously, huge games last night. They were making their threes. I thought Kuminga was good. Thought Jordan Poole played a pretty solid floor game, even though he really couldn't score. But stopped turning the ball over, started playing a little defense. The Warriors needed a get-right game, and they got right last night.
Yeah, there's still belief that they can get right in the postseason and still play well because they look at the stats and they say, opposing teams aren't going to keep shooting 40% from three against us when we're on the road. It's 41% that opponents shoot when they're on the road, when the Warriors are on the road, but when they get back home, opponents only shoot 32% at home. There's some wild splits. They're beating teams at home by 8 points, and then they lose by 7 points on the road. So they think that they're still away. They're still away. And like you said, they started this road trip here. They're now 4 games in. They played better against the Hawks. They played better earlier in this road trip, so they feel fine. It's just a lot. Some tough sledding to keep doing this night in and night out. You need so much from Steph here in all these games in February and March. So it's going to add up, I think, even if Wiggins comes back and Gary Payton II comes back.
My only note really from this one is we saw a guy hit a half-court shot in this game.
Yeah.
A lefty.
Yeah,
a lefty. We don't see a lot of lefties get the opportunity to step up to that half-court line and bang one. And he got multiple opportunities, which was a little perplexing.
You don't often see a person get multiple opportunities.
No.
You don't see a lefty. You don't see multiple opportunities. And I think he made a quick adjustment. I think he went just a bit left because he was right.
He did.
With
You're
his
right.
first shot, took a tiny little step. The guy could shoot. I mean, he looked like a play. Like he's
he
solid.
looked comfortable with the basketball in his
Great
hands.
analysis.
Could tell right away. And he
Sign
banged
him
it
up,
home.
man.
He banged it home, and he won $19,000, we think, too. Mm-hmm. So maybe it's like one where, like, if you shoot on Saturday and you miss, then we, like, add more money to it. Right? How do they get to 19,000? It's got to be that.
What if it was started at 20,000? Every miss we take off $1,000.
Okay. Interesting.
Nice
like,
one.
I can't miss this.
Oh, so he would have got 20 shots. You're saying 20 half-court shots. Oh, just keep shooting. Something there. But yeah, a much-needed road win there by the Warriors, even if it was against the Rockets, to halt that 11-game road skid. Let's move to the Jazz holding off the Kings. Tass 128-120. They were up huge, Utah, and Kings got back into this game, but the Jazz closed it out.
The Jazz were a story more earlier in the season when they were a number 1 seed, but they deserve some stories right now. They continue to be great. This season was about development. If we win some games, nice. That's just a byproduct. They're at 35-36. Continuously just work through games. You mentioned that they gave up a lead. Every quarter, every play, every guy who steps on this floor contributes. It didn't matter that they didn't have their top 3 scorers in this game. Larry Markkinen, Jordan Clarkson, Colin Sexton, all out. They just beat the Celtics. Now they just beat another number 2 seed in the Kings, who've now dropped to number 3.
Yeah.
They're up 25. Guys like Simone Fontecchio, Kelly Olynyk, hitting threes. They each had 4 threes. Chris Dunn coming off the bench. Udoka Azubuike. These guys, that is just fun to say their names, frankly, are contributing to them playing basketball. They literally don't quit. So they could have easily quit when they were up 25. Kings are coming back. This is a better team. They decided we're gonna try and close this in the third quarter and the fourth quarter, but the young Jazz players, the youngest of the Jazz players, shut the door. Guys I didn't even mention. They're 2 rooks that they got. Ochai Agbaji, he had 7 points in the fourth quarter. He had a career-high 27 on just 14 shots. Great thing about the Jazz, great thing about Markkinen leading the way. They never take shots that they shouldn't be taking. He had 6 threes. Solid game from him on cuts, getting to the rim. Again, in big minutes. That's the guy that they got in part for that Donovan Mitchell trade. Mm-hmm. And then the guy that they got in part from the Rudy Gobert trade, Walker Kessler, who has been good all year. He contests everything. He was a problem for Domantas Sabonis in this game. He blocks Sabonis with 1:30 left right at the rim. One of his 5 blocks, that's what he does. He's second in the NBA in total contested shots. I love that stat because the guy just gets after it. 10, 8, and 5 blocks in this game. That's all he frickin' does. So this season, huge win for the Utah Jazz. Around 500, they could be in the play-in tournament. They're in it right now. And a development of these 2 rooks. And then a bunch of guys as well. Obviously, Markkinen, Clarkson has been phenomenal. What a season. And to hold off a Kings team that didn't have Herter. Maybe their health is finally, their great health is finally catching up to them, but hopefully he'll be back. He was sort of questionable coming into this game.
How many game-saving blocks does Walker Kessler have this season? If
Quite
we
a
count
few.
that one last night, which was pretty key at the part of the game. I mean,
Had the one
3,
on Grant
4?
Williams
Yeah,
just now?
Yep. Something like that. And you said it's the 10th time he's recorded at least 5 blocks in a game. Can you name the last rookie to hit that mark?
Dikembe?
No.
Alonzo Mourning?
No. These are good guesses.
Anthony Davis?
This guy, I believe, incredibly never won a Defensive Player of the Year.
Tim Duncan?
Tim Duncan. 97-98. He had
time.
14 games of 5 blocks or more as a rookie. And that's what Walker Kessler's doing here. And we
a shortened
think
season
right,
for Timmy.
Right. We think, well, most of us think that Mike Brown is going to win Coach of the Year, and deservedly so, especially when you look at them not making the playoffs for 16 years, and he comes in and they're actually good. But Will Hardy, he's going to get a ton of votes, too.
Absolutely.
Like he might get some first-place votes, and I would assume get a lot of second- and third-place votes on the Coach of the Year ballot. Right?
Yeah, no doubt. I was wrong about Timmy. That was the next year they made the finals. That was my bad. The shortened season. My bad. That's my bad.
The Kessler thing was impressive, though, because I just watched the big guys when they played. January 4th, it was Kings versus Jazz, and Kessler was still coming off the bench at that time, and Sabonis ate his lunch. Like, he was in his chest every single time. Kessler had no idea how to deal with the brute force of Sabonis, and then last night, Sabonis went for 11 points on 4 of 11 shooting. That's impressive for Kessler. 5 blocks as well, and then you mentioned the one to basically seal the game. He's their only real starter that was out there, and that guy wasn't starting for most of the season. Also pretty weird that Talen Horton-Tucker is in his 4th season in the NBA, still younger than Ochai Agbaji.
Whoa.
Yeah. Yeah. Ochai's
Definitely
old.
doesn't look like it either.
No, he does not. No, he does
He's
not.
like balding.
He's like 6 months younger.
Yeah. Wow.
That is wild.
I didn't know that. I didn't know Agbaji was that like old.
He's old,
so to speak. Yeah.
He'll be 23 at the end of the season.
Okay.
Yeah, and I think that's a crazy stat. As I said, Walker Kessler second in contested shots in the NBA in total contested shots. He started for half the season. Numbers are weird, but he just every time he's on the floor, he's obviously contesting everything.
Yeah.
He just goes after it, multiple blocks all the time. He's third in double-double games, which also include 3 blocks. It's a very cherry-picked stat, but still, it means he just gets after it and blocks shots. Shout out to Brett Usher for that one.
The Hornets rally from 21 back to beat the Pacers 115-109. This was our final game last night. I don't think we'll spend too much time on it, but Kelly Oubre Jr., 28 points. Terry Rozier, 23. Gordon Hayward, 22. So all of them contributing last night. And the Hornets looked like they were going to lose this game. Looked like the Pacers are like keeping their postseason hopes alive here. And instead, the Hornets outscored them 19-4 over the final 6 minutes. And I do wonder if is that sort of the end of Indy's, postseason play and hopes? I know they're still within striking distance, but it's starting to feel that way. I think they're 2.5 back now from the Bulls at the 10th spot. Though the Pacers hold the tiebreaker over the Bulls, somehow taking that season series 3-1, so that could come into play. But they just coughed this one up. 21 times, 21 turnovers, man, 35 Charlotte points. So you're not doing yourself any favors. And the Hornets get a win here. It doesn't really change anything in terms of their lottery ball, ping pong ball odds, right? They're sort of like just the 4th team. It's the Pistons, the Rockets, the Spurs, and then there's a little separation. The Hornets slotted in right now at 4th. They're going to have very likely, a 12.5% chance of getting the number 1 Wembanyama pick, and then it's like Orlando and Portland that are a little bit better or worse, however you want to look at it. Worse being you want the number 1 pick in this scenario. But it's a good Hornets win here, and their guys are contributing. A lot of this is coming at the end. Nick Richards,
Big Nick,
big game, dominated the glass. He was putting up a stat line that we saw a couple times earlier this season. Big performance, big Nick energy, 14 points, 17 boards, and some good defense as they did. I think they sort of shocked the Pacers here in winning this game, going on that late run.
Have they said, as Eric Collins said, big Nick energy on the broadcast?
I'd love to hear him scream it. I don't think he has, but
that's seems right up his alley.
I haven't seen every Nick Richards minute so far this season. I also
what
wonder...
is he, a Scottie Pippen?
Laughter. Look, 31 wins for the Portland Trail Blazers, 32 for the Indiana Pacers. They are 6th and 7th in lottery odds right now. We're going to see Damian Lillard or Tyrese Halliburton again this season? I don't think so.
Yeah, the Lillard one's fascinating.
Yeah.
It's because, here's what I think about the Lillard situation. They're done. They're out of this. They're not making the play-in, which is terribly disappointing. But if he doesn't play the rest of the year, that really, really, really hurts his chances of any All-NBA selection. Right?
True. Yeah.
Like if they just shut him down, I don't think he's getting the votes to make a second or third team, even though he has incredible numbers. But if he continues to play and, is still putting up 35 every night, he might slip in. I don't think he's deserving. We went over it the other day. I think guys like Fox and stuff like that on winning teams probably deserve maybe that spot, but some of these voters don't care. Right?
Yeah.
Like, hey, the guy's averaging 34 a game or whatever, 33, 32.
He's at 57 games played, which is 1 game short of that scoring title requirement mark.
Oh, yeah.
When the discussions on this in the CBA are tied, or there's some discussions about tying games played to awards.
Yes.
And maybe it won't be tied to All-NBA awards. Who knows? Maybe it'll be higher than 58.
Yep.
But 58 is tied to the scoring title win. He's short of that one. So, I mean, that's just a number in our brains. He's 1 short.
Yeah, he's third in the league in scoring right now, 32.2. Embiid is 33.6. I wonder, how many points exactly Dame would need to score to get to 33.7 and then shut it down, having played exactly 58 games.
That'd be a huge number.
Because Lillard can get it, whatever the number is. I don't know exactly what it is. I'll do some math in the break.
I guess he would, in that scenario, need Embiid to have some stinkers too here. And how many games do they have left against your Chicago Bulls? Even though he had a monster game last night.
Yeah, they play Wednesday, actually.
Oh, they play again?
Yeah.
Oh, there you go. Let me take the Tankathon for a spin.
Yeah, take it.
All right, here we go. Sim Lottery. Houston Rockets win Wembanyama.
All right.
Number 1 pick. Orlando jumps up to 2nd. Wizards 3. Pelicans 4. Wow. That's not good for the Pistons or the Spurs there. Slipping to 5 and 6 in this sim. Got some news. Back to the Kings here for a second and the Sixers. Yesterday, Kings forward Domantas Sabonis and 76ers center Joel Embiid were named the NBA Players of the Week for Week 22. And this is the 2nd consecutive Player of the Week honors for Sabonis and Embiid. They both earned that achievement. In Week 21, Sabonis led the Kings to a 3-1 record, averaging 23, 16, and 10. Not a bad week. Embiid, he led the Sixers to a perfect 3-0 week. This is obviously for Week 22, so not counting last night's game. Averaging 35, round up, 13, and about 3.5 blocks. So congrats to them. Did you notice what I said there? I said Kings forward Domantas Sabonis. Mm-hmm. I read what NBA.com pushed out. Why are they calling him a forward? What are they doing?
You think this is shenanigans?
I don't know, but he's not a forward. He's played 99.9% of his minutes since coming to the Sacramento Kings as a center. So I don't get this.
Yeah, but he's only played 100% of his minutes as a center this season.
This season, yeah. 99% last year? Okay. In the 15 or 16 games he was
Must have
there?
had a run with Alex Len at some point last season.
I thought they were going to run him with Rashawn Holmes.
I think they just are people get it he was a forward when he was on the Pacers because he played alongside Turner. So he's still a forward, but he's not. He is a center, and I bring that up because we were talking about the All-NBA, third-team center, and I think it should be Sabonis.
It's funny because that ties into a tweet of the night that we have later on in this show.
Didn't even know that.
About Domantas Sabonis' height.
Wow.
Maybe that's why the NBA is thinking it. But it doesn't make sense when you see the tweet of the night. Conspiracy there. Ochai Agbaji, we're going way back here. He's going to be 23, as you said. You'll never forget his birthday once I tell it to you.
Okay.
420.
Okay.
And 2000. And the year 2000. So it's
Very
22,000. 20, 2000. 420. You'll never forget.
Okay.
I will actually never forget that.
Yeah.
Do you want to celebrate it?
Yes.
When we get there on the show? All right.
Also, I did the math.
Looks like a blunt G.
Looks like things are going to be okay for Joel
It's a big
Embiid.
number.
I think he's okay, yeah?
Yeah. Lillard would have to have a 118-point game if he came back to pass
more.
up Embiid. He could do it, man.
He could
Today's
do
day
that.
and age.
He could.
We're going to take our final break. It's a quick one. When we come back, pick 'em results, and Tass has already teased it. A tweet of the night about Domantas Sabonis' height. Don't go anywhere.
You guys like real vodka?
Yes?
What about real juice?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yes.
Real seltzer?
Only seltzer I intake.
Right? Yeah, me too. How about a real tweet? Because I got one for you.
Okay.
This was tweeted over the weekend from Branhausen. Didn't we get shirts from Branhausen one time? Oh, no, sorry. That's something totally different. Showed up to the St. Patty's party with the lemonade pack umlaut Wait, how do you say it?
Umlaut.
Umlaut or umlaut?
I think it's umlaut. Yeah.
Okay, tomato.
Yeah.
In the Stone Cold Igloo cooler. Now look at this cooler. It's Stone Cold Steve Austin, 100% pure whoop ass.
Say that again?
Whoop ass.
He definitely never said it like that.
You definitely pronounced that properly. Hard H.
And then we got a 6-pack of the Lemonade Neutral. My favorite, actually. The Blackberry Neutral Lemonade. Bangs.
I had one yesterday.
Hits, right?
It's tasty.
It's so good.
Give me a hell yeah! Give me an umlaut!
I thought he was going to show up cracking 2 neutrals on the top of a car.
I would love to see that.
Yeah, do that one next, Brandhausen.
No, don't
Brad
waste
Hauser.
it. Don't waste it.
Yeah, don't wait.
waste
Well,
that
you
neutral.
could sort of crack them and then just sort of be under it. Let it fall into your mouth. Neutral, man. Give it a try. Oh my God, we ran out of music. Okay, we got to wrap this up.
You know, the music they should use is umlaut doop dap dap doop bap
Now we're gonna get copyright on an ad now. Thanks, Tass. There's 3 different packs: pineapple, watermelon, raspberry, and mango. That's the fruit pack. Then we got the lemonade, classic, peach, blackberry, strawberry, lemonade. Strawberry lemonade. Lemonade is the classic. And cranberry, classic, grapefruit, apple, orange, cranberry. It's the ultimate seltzer upgrade with real vodka and a better taste. Check them out on Instagram at @neutral. No umlaut there. Find Neutral in stores, at your favorite bar, or learn more at neutralusa.com. Try Neutral, the one with the umlaut.
Well, TK mentioned it. We were living and dying with those final possessions of the Warriors-Rockets game because Trey and I needed the Warriors to win by 10 points or more. And it was tight. It was going back and forth, and then Steph Curry just hit a bomb.
Big time.
Just hit a bomb with like 35 seconds to go, and that did it. So that's a win for us. Trey 9-5. I'm 6-8. Tass had the Rockets to cover, had a lot of points to play with, but got the L. So you're 4-10 here, Tass. You're having a real skeetsy month. What's tonight's game?
Tonight's schedule, looking forward to the Cavs-Nets potential playoff preview. Celtics-Kings. Hello.
Oh, okay. I like
a late
that.
one there, and an even later one for us on the East Coast. Clippers are hosting the Thunder. Clippers, 6.5-point favorites. That's a big line against the OKC Thunder, who are in the friggin' play-in tournament. But Trey and I still think they're going to cover. Skeets, you've got OKC to cover 6 points or less. Or obviously, the old ML. You got them both.
SGA revenge game? Are you kidding me?
What about a Russell Westbrook revenge game?
Oh, wow. It's going to be an intense game. Sounds like it's going to be close. No, Thunder are playing really, really well recently.
For sure.
And the Clippers, I can't figure them out ever.
Don't try.
So yeah, I'll just back the Canadians there and the OKC Thunder. Good luck to everybody though. Let's get to tweet of the night.
Tweet of the night. Wow.
This tweet comes from Brett Usher, a great follow on Twitter. He highlighted a couple players' heights on NBA.com. So he pulled up their profile pages. We've got Walker Kessler on the left, Domantas Sabonis on the right, because they were playing each other. Their heights, specifically Walker Kessler, 7 feet. Okay, that makes sense. Domantas Sabonis, 7'1". There's no chance that Domantas Sabonis is 7'1". There's absolutely no chance. So let's focus on that one there. Other sites have him listed at 6'10", because that's what he probably is. 6'11",
I think
because he's probably 6'10".
Yeah, maybe has him 6'11".
Yeah, so I think they have him at 6'10", actually.
Oh, do they?
Or no,
Okay.
6'11", because he's 6'10".
Yeah.
He's not 7'1". There's no chance. We know, even if he's leading the league in rebounds, when he goes up beside a 7-footer, he's just, there's no way he's that tall. We were told in 2019 that the NBA was going to start cracking down on teams and the measurements of players. That you couldn't just send it in. You couldn't just tell us Domantas Sabonis is 7'1". We're coming to your facility. You're taking off your padded socks. You're obviously taking off your shoes, and we are measuring you.
Right.
Foot to head. That was 2019.
Okay.
This is the NBA.com page. Let's
Could it be an
let's
error?
specify that.
Inputting error?
You think?
You think they fingered the foot?
Fat thumbed it? Like what would be the error there? Like somebody actually goes up to ruler and just like fat fingers it so it goes 3 inches higher than it is. Like, how would you go from 6'10" to 7'1"? Now they made him. Maybe it was 2019, and literally the press release was in October. Hey, we're coming to camps, and we are going to get this right. There's no more lying. And a lot of players' heights changed.
Yeah, they did.
But maybe they gave up during the pandemic because this was just before it, and they said, screw it, send us your heights, whatever you want to be. Domantas Sabonis, you want to be 7'1"? Sure. Kevin Durant, you don't want to be 7 foot, 6'10"? Sure. No problem. It's just wrong. It is absolutely wrong, and I find it strange. This is the NBA.com page. This ain't no pro ballers. This is the one.
Well, like you said, that is very strange that they call him a forward in their press release when he wins Player of the Week. The math's not mathing.
It's not a 7'1" forward. He's neither. He's a 6'10" center.
How tall do you think his father, Arvydas, was?
Well,
or at least
monster.
listed as?
7'3" or 7'?
7'3" was listed on Basketball Reference. Yeah. That one I believe.
He's a giant.
All right. We got to get to the bottom of this. How tall is Domantas Sabonis? Is he 6'10"? Is he 6'11"? Is he 7 feet? Is he 7'1", like the NBA.com tells us?
I mean, he measured at 6'10" at the combine.
Yeah.
Okay.
So we're saying...
But a young man.
He was a young
Simply
man.
19 years old at the time.
Still growing.
I was still growing at that point. Could he have grown to 7'1"?
No.
I don't think he's 7'1". I'm with Tass on this.
3 inches. Could he be 6'11"?
Yeah, I think he could.
Does he wear lifts? Does he play in platforms? It all matters. The only measurement that matters is in your shoes. Because you play in your shoes.
Fair.
Yeah.
Maybe he's got like an oddly shaped head.
He does. His hair is taller than when he was drafted.
Like, yeah, exactly.
So then everybody else, though, because he will go stand beside Miles Turner. He played with Miles Turner. Miles Turner must be 7'4". Because Miles Turner's taller.
Yeah.
There's no.
What's Miles
there's
listed?
No denying
7? 6'11"? Yeah, interesting.
He's 6'10". I think he's 6'10". And I've never stood beside him, so I wouldn't know.
Yeah, okay.
I wouldn't know.
He may have been sitting
3-time
while we were near him. I think we probably were by him when he was sitting, but he was on a giant podium probably. Yeah, that's a tough one. You have no issue with Walker Kessler being listed as 7. We have seen him.
I've seen his father, seen his brother, up close and personal. Rode an airplane with him from Atlanta to Utah mere months ago.
The family.
Yeah.
Well, you saw
the Walker.
You saw Walker at the CAA party.
Oh, yeah, he was there. Yeah.
He was standing right beside you.
Was he standing?
Yeah. Yeah, he was like.
He was taller than the rest of his family.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
I think it's true.
They all measured at 7 feet at the combine, though. So he's actually 7'10".
If you were.
They got extra room in first class, brother and father. They were sitting in first row. They had lots of leg room, even though they were shorter than Walker Kessler.
Has anyone done like the article? I'm sure it already exists, probably years ago. But like this concept of like how some guys want to be listed taller and some guys want to be listed smaller, is sort of fascinating. And I don't mean like guys that are like 5'10", hey, round up, get me to 6 feet and stuff like that. It's more like around this like weird. It's that 7 foot dilemma, if you want to call it that. Some want it, some don't.
Some want it, some don't.
Yeah. How would you do, big guy?
I always go on the short side.
Interesting.
Yeah, like I've measured at 6'6" in shoes, but I would never tell somebody that.
What? So why?
Sounds like bragging. I'm tall enough as it is, I'm tall for a normal person. But when I tell people 6'6", they're like, oh, you must be good at basketball. 6'5" just sounds like a tall guy.
That's like that. That's a tall guy, though. I agree with you. I feel like 6'6" now
Sounds
you're getting
taller.
like really
Yeah.
sort of almost freaky tall.
That's why I don't say it.
Yeah.
But why would you ever tell somebody your height in shoes? That's not your height.
98% of the people that see me in shoes, though.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
That's true.
Okay.
I only tell Laura I'm 6'5". I'm like, I'm 6'5". You see me in the news.
So you got to say, what's your pool height?
Pool height. Yeah, that's what I call it. Pool height.
We need to get measured in here. I think that's what it comes down to.
We got to measure. Yeah.
Yeah. Why don't we have like see how much we grow every year on the podcast?
Yeah, I'm
like
going the
little
opposite.
ruler.
I'm going the
Shrinking.
opposite. Of course, we're sitting here for hours.
Oh, sitting height.
Low. I'm getting scrunched.
Yeah.
Down.
All right, controversial. Something controversial coming up here. I'm casting this to you, Eshua. Domantas Sabonis taller than Miles Turner?
No. He's putting up a post move on him right there. He's backing him down.
He was backing him down a little bit.
You don't think it's the Jimmy Neutron hair that's pushing him over the edge here?
Jeez.
Miles Turner's going to fall over.
If you accept that Miles Turner is 6'11", you could accept that Domantas Sabonis is 7'1" in this picture.
Ooh, I don't know if I could go that far. That they can't. Come on, the hair is like a good 1.5 inches, right?
Yeah, tall skull.
All right.
He's doing a post move. It does kind of look. He's leaning way heavy on him.
I need you to. But that's just one photo. I've got another photo here. Miles is leaning on Sabonis.
Oh, they flipped it.
They flipped it. Miles is way taller. You can find any photo.
Why do you look taller when you lean? It doesn't make any sense.
Well, our friends Deuce and Mason cover the Kings. Get over there and measure the guy. We need to know.
Deuce and Morgan, yes.
I'm sorry. Deuce
Sorry,
and
I was
Morgan.
like,
Deuce, Mason, and Morgan. My bad. Anyway, get over there and measure him.
Yeah.
But he could be a guy who doesn't want it to go lower. Maybe he wants to be a 7-footer.
True.
I think there was 70 players whose measurements changed in 2019.
I believe it.
In 2019, when they actually started measuring.
You have to assume a majority of those were losing an inch or two, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
Not the
there was a weird thing with
got
Boban,
bumped
who
up.
went from 7'4" to 7'3", but now he's back at 7'4". Weird stuff. Anyways, weird stuff. Deuce Morgan, Deuce Mason, and
Deuce and
Morgan
Mo.
Regan.
Deuce and Mo. You can just go
Do
with
this for the team. Do it for us.
We need you to measure the players.
Please measure the players. They host like 4 shows a day. They can fit this in.
Yeah, they're busy. I'm gonna
So
say.
they're down at the arena. How upset would an NBA player be if you pulled out a measuring tape?
Well, you did it once with Giannis.
Oh, he's cool though.
You were in a like an actual
lift.
scissor
Very
lift.
cool.
Yeah,
That was a good
he did
bit.
seem cool with it.
Yeah.
But you're trying to like say like. So you
wouldn't
almost
like
like they have to do it like they got to sneak up on him, like figure out a way to get his height without actually asking him, "Okay, can we take your height?"
Yeah, they probably have
Got to
to
get him without his shoes on. Yeah.
They'd probably have to get him against the wall during a press conference. And there would you know how you have that sort of that screen behind you that says the Kings and their sponsors. So he gets I'm envisioning you put the tape on the wall behind this screen. So once he starts doing his press conference, you drop the screen and then you see his measurement.
Oh yeah, that's not
Boom.
bad.
We got
Now you don't have the tape just there without the screen because then he'll see it.
Yeah, that's
He's
pretty
smart.
good.
They're all
What
smart.
about like we could use like a laser level too.
like the beam.
All right, that's tweet of the night. That's an insane
stuff.
ending to this podcast.
stuff.
Thanks for joining us. Hit
We
the
got
like
to- we
button.
got to close to an hour.
Subscribe. Yeah, we nailed it.
That's how we measure our shows.
Has to be an hour. So if that means we got to stretch out 6 minutes of tweet of the night talk, we will. No problem. We're the professionals, guys. Hit the like button, subscribe, leave your boys a 5-star rating and review. We'll be back here tomorrow at 10 a.m. Eastern. Lots of good games on tonight, so we'll be recapping all of those. Maybe we'll hit the beach. Get your questions in. Tweet at us at NoDunksInc. That's INC. Send them in, nodunks@theathletic.com. Maybe a little beach step in tomorrow. Otherwise, stay safe. Have a great night. Clipper Bros.
You heard it here first. Have a great time. Turn up. Love you guys. Awesome.
Thanks for joining us. And remember, for great Kings coverage, go follow Morgan Mason. I'm just throwing them all together. Deuce and Mo.
There it is.
Yeah, come on.
Brace the day, people.